Welcome, my dear students. This is Dr. Osama Kashwa, and today we're going to talk about the change management. And we will talk about the aspects, the necessities, why change management, what are the levels of management change, when do we do the change management, who's responsible for the change management, the levels of the change, the departments of the change, who's responsible about the change management. All these topics and the others we will talk about in those videos. Um, okay, let's start now and let's go to where we come for. The first one here, let me share the screen, is so some of those, my dears, we have handled before, and some of them, well, this is a very good reference, so I prefer always to work from this about Ryerson University. And here we go. What is the change management? The change management is a structured approach to transitioning individuals, teams, the individuals. So the change will be for the individuals and teams and organizations from a current state to a desired future state. So the change is about the future, it's not about the past. What we're changing for the better, not for the okay. And fulfill or implement a vision and a strategy. And I have showed you before, what do you mean by vision? What do you mean by strategy? What do you mean by policy? What do you mean by rules, programs, procedures? We said the main thing, the vision, it's like what you want to be. And it's just one expression in about three, four words or a phase, a small phase. It's including where you are, why you are there. And from there, this goes the strategy. The strategy, then the strategies goes to the divided into the policies. Policies means moving into action or taking the first steps to change the just the strategy into real action. Then after that, rules, policies, and procedures. And we said about the rules and procedures and programs. Those are extra or details for the strategy or the components of the strategies. Okay. So the change management here, like we said before, we have strategies, we have structure, we have procedures, we have technologies that deal with the change. So those is about it. Okay, change starts with a vision. Like we said before, there must be a vision for you. There must be a vision for your company or your organization. And the vision, a change effort or initiative must start with a vision. Whether a change is prompted by external political, economical, social, or technological environment or internal factors. So if the change comes to you from outside, like changing in the government policies, like changes in the social rules, like changes in the economic situation, or whether the change is coming to you from inside your own company, which we call it internal. So we have two sources for change. We have an external source of change and we have internal source of change. So internal means from within the company itself, inside the company. Like as example, the policies, system or structure, the creating, okay, those are things. And also in between the workers and the employments and the employees and the employer, the relationship between them, any kind of a change that needed for a better performance for the organization. This we call it, um, okay. Definition, a vision. This is what I want you to know. The vision statement tells you where you are going, where you want to go, where you want to go. Simply, the vision is where you want to go. Like you see here in Toronto, as example, the cars of the police. The vision is written to save, to protect. Forwards, to save, to protect. This is an example of the vision. It paints a compelling work of a desired future state. It can make anyone who reads it, hears it, or leaves it. Okay, this is the vision. Okay, the characteristics of the effective vision. For a vision to be effective, there must be things like desirable, means acceptable by everyone. Feasible, you can touch it, you can see it, you can feel it. Focused means in one point. You don't go on many subjects. As example, you don't say, I will work, I will succeed, I will do this, I will do that. No, only you focus on one point. And flexible means able to be changed or able to general enough to allow initiatives and alternative responses in the future. If you have more alternatives in the future, that will be fine. Communicable, also, this is very important, can be fully explained in within 5 minutes. And I told you, just take an example of Toronto police cars when it's written to save and to protect. This shows what do we mean by the vision. How about the strategy? We said the strategy. A strategy will ensure that the vision is achieved. It is unified, comprehensive, and integrated plan that provides a roadmap to achieving the vision. When we go down, like I told you before, you start with the vision, then you go to the strategy, then you go to the policy, then you go to the rules, programs, and procedures. I showed you this in the map before on the board, and I'm saying again, start with the vision. The vision is divided into, or more details will be found in the strategy. So the strategy is a detailed of the vision. Then from there you go to the policy, which means move into act. Then after that you go to the more details in rules, programs, and procedures. Okay, common obstacles to change. Are there always there is some there are reasons to be obstacle for change, not to accept the change so easy. People use, like I told you in the lectures before, if you, as example, if I tell you the hey, there are two roads. This road you know, and you go home from every day. This will take you home in half an hour, and this road it will take you only in 10 minutes. But it's dark, and you don't know who's there. Maybe like homeless people will meet you, or you might be maybe people like thieves will there or whatever. Which one you want to go? Then you say, no, 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 no. I know this one, the half an hour. I will go from the one of half an hour, of half an hour. I won't go from the one which is very long because it's dark and I don't know it. So what you know is better than what you don't know. And there is expressions in the whole world about this. Like as example, some expression they say, the devil you know is better than the angel which you don't know. So this is another point. So this is here common obstacles of change. What are the common obstacles of change? What are they? We have employees resistance. This is the first one. Communication breakdown. This is another thing. The resistance of the employees for the change because I don't know. Like I told you, anything new will be not welcomed. Anything new, any new application or whatever will never be welcomed until you make sure that it's safe for you and it's in your benefits. Okay. Communication breakdown. This is another point as well. And staff turnover during transition. And we talked about before, my dear students, we said, what do we mean by staff turnover? Staff turnover means the people who comes to work and leave the work and find work in another job, another place. This we call it turnover. The high the turnover rate, the high the turnover rate, the low the ability to change. The low, the lower the ability to change. The higher the turnover rate, the lower the ability to change. Because whom you would change? Because people comes and leave quickly and go to other place. And the high turnover is always reflecting a bad organization. The high turnover reflects a bad organization because if the organization was good, the people were not in conflict, everything was clear, all the people love each other there, team works are very well, everything is done, communication is best. If everything is fine, then the people why and the web pages and the way and the pay sorry the wages and the pays, everything is in its own place and right, then why you will leave the company and go to work in another company? Then the turnover will be low when everything is right. But because everything is bad, a bad organization, everything, then the turnover is high. So also, as long as the turnover is high, the ability to change is very low because no settlement. There are no settlement. There's no settlement in your organization if it is bad. That's why. So those are the reasons why obstacles of change. Employee resistance, communication breakdown, and staff turnover during transition. So like here now I want to say, if the obstacles, what you will do as a leader, as example, if you have a resistance and you are the leader, then leverage your relationship with your team to address employees concern. Check out the team, see how they are welcoming, how the your team, and tell them, give them explanation, and know from them what's your employees looking forward, what the reaction regarding the change. Are they are very welcoming for change or no? You will know from the teamwork which is working from you as a leader. So ask for a feedback. That's what I'm talking about. Review. Okay. Second thing is communication breakdown. When you are a leader and you have a communication breakdown that affects the change, what you're gonna do? Communicate key information to employees on ongoing and consistent basis. Always keep in touch with your employees. Know everything. Be updated always with the information about your employees, about their own feedback, about their own reaction to the systems of change. Start staff turnover. Whenever you get a very high staff turnover, look for the reasons why your company with a high turnover rate. Why? Why the ratio in your company is so high? Engage your team by involving them initiative, coach, mentor, and enrich their rules for the team and the rules. And also look for the reasons why the turnover is high in your company and try to satisfy the people by wages, by pays, by incentives, by motives. You have to satisfy them, and at the same time, there is a, if there is a kind of conflict between the employees, reduce this conflict to its lowest level. No stress. Try to let the stress as lower as possible also between the employees so no one will leave your organization. That's fine. Those are the reasons why the change fall. Rules and responsibilities for change. We know now there's something called the sponsor, is usually the director or dean of the department and faculty. Okay, he is the person who's responsible, have the responsibility of the change, and he provides funding and resolves for any problems. And we call him the sponsor, and he approves major deliverables and provides high level directions. The second thing is the champion, is usually the vice, like the vice manager or chair of the department. Okay, uh, he's actually the one who's responsible about moving from just ideas into real world. Like he brings the changes vision into life. Means he translate the words, the verbal words into action. He move into action. He moves into action. The change agent is person or group that assists the department faculty to implement the proposed change. They're focusing on assisting and advising coaching. They have may act in a number of rules. They data gathers. They gather data about the change, about the people's how they reflect the reflect of the people or the reaction of the people toward the change. So they know all this. Has no direct line authority. They don't have a direct line authority. They have a staff authority. So they are not their opinions are not mandatory to be obeyed or obligated as a subject matter experts in the change management process. So now we will come to what you have in your case study, and this is very important. Just you will apply it by an example. That's it. You will do it by an example. So the model of the change, how it looks like. The first thing is increase urgency. So let your employees feel that you have something that need to be changed, a situation, a bad situation in your company that need to be changed. Okay. Build a guiding team from the people who are working with you as a leader. Check a good team, select a good team that will work with you. Get the vision right. We said everything, every work for change will start with a vision. Then step communicate for buy-in. Empower action. Empowering means to give the authorities to the lower levels in the organization, give them the authorities to move on and to act on behalf of you as a leader or as a manager. Create short term wins, don't let up, and make change stick. So, change will be a chronic, will be a permanent things that you will always do and will be acceptable by all the people who are working with you in the organization. 8 steps to effective change. Like, as example, what works for the increasing the urgency means you make it, you show that the change is very important. So what are the things that will work? Or okay, creating a compelling story, never understanding how much complacency fears and anger exists, creating the vision. So this, okay, but don't do this. Don't do what I will say now. Focusing exclusively on building a rational business case, ignoring a lack of urgency, like you say, hey, we can wait for the change. It's not a big problem. It's not an urgent matter, though it's urgent. Thinking that you can do a little if you are not a leader. Uh, we will say the change is not only the responsibility of the leader, but the responsibility of everyone in the organization because it's accepted by the lower levels as well. So they share and they participate in the change process. So thinking, don't think about yourself. As long as you are not a leader, you'll say, hey, what's my business? My opinion will never affect anything. I'm not the leader. The leader is the one who's having the responsibility to change. So don't think like this, because when you think like this affects on the urgency of the change. Build the guiding team. Uh, so you will have a team, like we said, and this team, there must be points that you focus on and points that you will avoid. The points that you will focus on, showing the enthusiasm. You must show them that you need as a leader and you are a pioneer for them and sole model. You show them that you are very enthusiastic, very enthusiastic, having a feeling of you must do the change that you must do. So they will imitate you. But if they found you that you are hopeless and you don't want to change, then they will imitate you. Like they will be the same thing. Okay. Modeling the trust and teamwork needed in the group. But don't do this. Don't do what I will say. Guiding a change with weak task, like, okay, change is okay. If it happened, that's fine. We are good. Like, all this does not work. So you have to be very enthusiastic in the change. You are the leader, so you have to work on it to make the people also have the enthusiasm to change the change itself. Not confronting the situation when power centers undermine the section of the right team, trying to leave out or work around the head of the unit to be changed means it's all belong to the enthusiasm. When your enthusiasm is weak, then the results of change will be very low, or maybe won't be any change as long as you are weak and as long as you don't have enthusiasm for the change, you don't have a willing and ability from inside you for the change itself, then this will not be enough for the change. You must have a strong willing for the change itself. Get the vision right. This is the third thing. Okay, the vision, like we said, where I'm going, what I want to do. It's a small sentence, like we said before. What works? Trying to see literally possible futures, vision that are so clear. We said before there must be some terms or conditions for the right vision, characteristics of the right vision. Clear, not vision, alternate, and flexible. All those are things that must be in the vision itself. Very simple, very focused. This is for the vision. Okay. Vision that are moving, such as a commitment to serving people. Like I told you before, the vision of the police of Toronto to serve, to protect. This is a vision. Okay. What does not work? So don't do these things. Don't do what does not work. Assume that linear or logical plans are budget alone, overly analytical, financial based vision exercises. So don't put your vision under restraints. Like as example, we say, we are there to expand, to help the people, but based on our own financial abilities. This part, no. But yeah, we are there to help. We are there to empower the people. We are there to expand business. That's fine. But not we are there to expand business based on our abilities and based on our financial standing. This, no, not acceptable, this part. So about the step four, communicate for buy-in. So they must be communicated, the vision must be communicated to the organization. So like you are promoting your vision, like you are promoting, but you promote it with enthusiasm inside you. You are promoting the change. You are showing the importance of the change to your employees. You are showing them how far the change is very important. Okay. What works? Developing a communication strategy, keeping communication simple and heartfelt. Heartfelt, you feel it with your heart. You feel it. It's not only fake. It's not a fake smile. No, it's a matter of core. It's a matter of core inside you. You want to change. Okay. But don't do this under communicating, which can easily happen. Under communicating, a weak type of communication. So you must, when you communicate with the others, especially your employees, you must have a good way to contact them and to communicate them. Communication is the transformation of the transform or the transfer of information between the sender and the receiver. So you are as an employer, you are a sender, and the employees are the receivers. So you must be on the right path. Also, empower action, like giving the power to the people. It's a kind of decentralization. Like we know, action should be seen as removing barriers to those whom we want to assist and publish in the change effort, removing obstacles from their ways and helping them, finding individuals with change experience who can bolster people's self-confidence with we won. That's very nice. So do this. You can do n antidotes, recognitions, and reward systems that inspire, promote optimism, and build self-confidence. This is the second thing. Feedback that can help people make better decisions. Those are the things which you can do for the empowering the people. But don't do this trying to remove all the barriers at once. Never. So if I give you a correct question, you can empower the action for change by removing all the barriers at once. True or false? It's false. So take it step by step. The change is a step by step. It's not all of a sudden. It will never happen. So don't make all the changes all at once. This is a very big mistake. Giving in your own pessimism and fears. Also, so don't show your own ideas. Then as example say, I'm not optimistic, I'm pessimistic here in this point. Though I like this change, but I'm very afraid of the change. Okay, if you are the leader and you're saying like this, how about the people who are listening to you, the employees? How you will convince them? And you yourself are very scared. So you have to be a role model. So for them, you have to be a role model. So don't show that you are worried of the change. Or if you are hesitated about the change, don't show this to the employees. Because if you are worried, how about them? They are sitting just listening to you to see what's about this change. Is it good or bad? So if you do this, show them that you are anxious and that you are worried and you are the boss, then consequently, they will be very worried from the change itself. Step six, create short-term wins. Early wins that comes first. Wins that are visible. Wins that are meaningful to others. If there are change rewards or wins from the change or profits from the change or any outcomes from the change, don't wait and accumulate them. Show them first by as soon as it happened, because this will make the people trust than you think. As example, if you have new machines and the new machines there was a resistance for change from the employees, and you told them these new machines will increase the profits, so after this the profits will increase your own wages and you make the change lovable for them. So don't wait, you have profits, you made by the new machines, you had new profits. Don't wait till these profits accumulate and accumulate and accumulate Then after that, you told them, after 2 years, you will tell them, see, because of the change, we have profits. No, you have to show that, as example, every month. We have today extra profits, $100,000, because we change the system from the old machinery system into the updated new machinery system. So we have more profits now. And guys, these profits will go to you in return. You will take it in return. So this will help the people as well. But don't do this launching many projects all at once. Again, don't do the whole work of a change at once. And even the benefits of the change, don't launch it all at once, because human nature is not to acquire everything in the same time. You can segment it and cut it into pieces, then launch each piece alone sequentially, each piece of benefits that came from the change itself. You can put them one by one. This will help so much. Step 7, don't let up. Successful efforts people build on the momentum to make a vision a reality by keeping urgency up, eliminating unnecessary exhausting work, and not declaring victory prematurely. So always keep on having the things well done. You did the change, you showed the result of the change. So always be awake, be awake, show the results of change, be enthusiasm about the change. This will create a kind of sense for the people that the change will be desirable then. Aggressively riding what works, yourself of work that wears you on task, looking constantly for ways to keep urgency up, using new situations, opportunities, okay, to launch the next wave of a change. So you're always up to show the new change updates. Don't do this convincing yourself that you're done when you aren't. Don't cheat yourself by other means. Make change stick. By creating a new supportive, sufficiently strong organization culture, the change should remain. Stick means a remain for the change, means it will be for the people minds always. They will accept any new change then. As long as you put the foundation that remove the barriers for the change, then the people will accept any change that you will do in the future. What works? Telling vivid stories about the new organizations, making absolutely sure you have the continuity of the behavior. This is and results that help a new culture grow. So, by this step, the new culture of the organization will be admiring and accepting the change. So, the new culture will accept the change itself. What does not work? Trying to change culture as the first step in the transformation. No, never change the culture itself. Culture will never be changed by your behave, or one word of you will change a culture of hundreds of millions of years for mankind. No, this will never happen. This will never happen. But you change only the values or the attitudes toward the change itself. That's what you can do. Okay. And the communication, like we said, the transformation of ideas in between two persons, the sender and the receiver. Okay. We have advantage and disadvantages of communication channels. Like we have advantage and disadvantage of communication channels. So we have direct communication, we have indirect communication, we have verbal communication, we have written communication. We have actually, when we classify it, we can classify it into two kinds of communication: mass communication and face-to-face communication. So the mass communication is like the emails, the internet, the memos, the newsletter, and the face-to-face communication like the meetings, information sessions. So it's like life. Like in our lecture, it's a face-to-face, but the mass communication is through the email and this. But the advantage of the mass is having advantage as well. Everyone is having advantage and disadvantage. It's cost effective, so it does not cost too much, efficient, yeah. Communicates routine, changes things which is routine, so you can send it by the emails. It doesn't need any discussion or anything. That's fine. Allow organization to reach a large audiences, because one email you will do with a click, one click, you will send what you want to hundreds and thousands of people. But still, the email and the internet and those having disadvantages. Like what? It is impersonal because you don't send it for one person, you send it for a lot of people at the same time. So it's not face to face. Employees may not read mass communication. Sometimes we, all of us, we get hundreds of emails every day. We don't read all of them. We read some of them and some no. Does not easily facilitate an environment in which recipient can ask questions. So if I have a questions now, I got an email. If you got an email from me and you have a questions, then it's very hard to find me live with you, like answer the questions, like when we sit face to face. Sitting face to face is the fastest way to get the to for the acquisition of the information, for getting the information, the face to face contact. But the emails and these things, you might have a question and there's no answers. So you have to ask me for the answer then. The face to face communications is meeting information. I want to tell you something, that the advantage of the mass is to avoid the disadvantages of the face to face and the opposite. So each of them, like avoiding the disadvantages of the other. Each of them is to avoid the disadvantage of the other. So the advantage enable leaders to enforce importance, because when we are live or face to face, I can tell you the importance of the subject which I'm talking about. Allows employees to ask immediate questions. Enable employees to receive information from leaders and whatever. But the disadvantages of face-to-face communication, that is time consuming. Sometimes people do meetings and stay for a long time, and just to say one idea, you can send it by the email and done. Ineffective for reaching employees sometimes. Executive presence may discourage employees from openly voicing. As example, some of the people might control the meeting, or their voices will be loud, so the other people will never be able to say, to express their feelings, or whatever they need to know about the change or whatever. Okay, inappropriately timed and too detailed information. Sometimes it's in the meeting will be in a time that is not appropriate for me. It's not proper for me. So this is also a disadvantage. We'll come to now to managing the emotions in a change. And we talk about the emotions means you like or the hate change, or hate the change. You like or hate the change. This is what we mean by meeting in emotions, the emotions in change. And of course, this line is the most important one, which I want you to know, that resistance to change is the largest obstacle that leaders are faced with when initiating a change. Usually, the resistance of change is very the core of the change process, obstacles or barriers. And this you must expect it. Like I told you, the example of the two roads, the dark road, which will take 10 minutes, and the light and road, which will take you home in 15 minutes, then you will prefer the long one with lights, and the safe one will take more time, but you will accept it because you know it and you are accustomed to it and you are familiar with it and you did it a lot of times. So this will be better for you than going in a way which you don't know. The phases of transition, we have here the phases of transition are three, like you see here: ending, losing, letting go, the neutral zone, and the new beginning. So, as a leader, to change your rule will be to support and encourage your staff throughout each phase. You are the leader, those are three phases. You have to support the employees in each phase of those. It is important to recognize the transition is not linear, and therefore, those that are impacted sometimes find themselves moving back and forth between the phases. So, because it's new thing, so you might be uh, here and there. So the first phase, ending, losing, and letting go. In this phase, staff and faculty must come to a point where they can go to the old situation. And until they let go, they will not be able to move on. This is the first step. The possible reactions: sense of shock, fear of a change, resentment, apathy, loss. Behavior to watch here is asking questions, challenging, complaining, failing to see any positive outcomes, trouble sleeping, withdrawal, or blame. Those are things, the behaviors of these steps. But you, as a leader or as a manager, what you should do in this phase to avoid these problems. You, as a leader, what you will do to avoid these problems. First, you have to identify what each individual will be losing. Second, accept your employee reactions. You accept it. You don't refuse it from the start. Like people saying, "Hey, we don't need new machines. It will make us like it will some of us will dismiss their jobs." And this and that. Say, wait a minute. I will tell you something about the change. You as a manager, you have to take and not give. You have to listen more than you talk. Okay. Be open about losses and show empathy to those affected. If there are losses, yes, we have some losses actually, but we will gain in the long run more than what we are losing. Look the ways to compensate your employees for their losses. Okay, whoever will lose a part of his job, he will go to the Ministry of Labor and they will give him compensations. Or we'll put him for another job that will need promotion and he will be fine. So, but be very explicit and be honest. Don't hide. So, any bad facts, you have to be uh, like the doctor. If some patient's having a cancer and he goes to him and says, "We must remove the tumor because if it's left, you will die so soon." So here he said what he has to do, and at the same time he listened to the patient, and he made the decision, and he's convincing the decision into his patient. This is the way it is. So provide your employees with a lot of information, show care and concern, ask the reaction, listen and pay attention to what you are hearing about people, to give them okay, to grieve and respond to their questions. This is the first start, or the first step. The second step is the neutral zone. In this area phase, staff and faculty are in gap between the old and the new. So I'm stand still like this. What's wrong? The old was better, or the new is better. So I don't know. I don't know which one is good for me. Like I'm standing here, neutral zone. Neutral means neither here nor there, neither for the update and the change, nor for the old situation. It's in the middle between them. So no longer works and the new has yet to be established. So the possible reactions: anxiety, confusion in this area where you don't know what you don't know. I don't know. Shall I make the change or no? Shall I accept the change or I won't accept it? Is it good for me or bad? I'm in this situation now, neutral. Okay. Confusion, decrease motivation, and some hope. You want a hope that everything will be fine. Behavior to watch: adjustment, bargaining, willingness to get involved. Tips for leaders. What are the tips for the leaders then? The tips for the leaders in this phase, or the phase two, or the neutral zone, is talk to your staff and faculty about the feelings. Talk with them. Okay. As example, as a patient is going to the doctor because he's having a tumor, let's say, and the doctor is telling him we must make a surgery to remove the tumor, a part of the tumor. Then the patient is listening. So the doctor share him and tell him, so when we remove it, there will be little pain in the start cell, but after that, the pain will be removed. So this create temporary policies, procedures to structure as necessary, strengthen connection within your team, the team was which was working with you. Encourage your employees to think of the new ways of doing things. Just let them think that the change would be better for them. Involve people in trying out ideas. Start training people on the new skills that will need. Continue to explain the purpose and play. This is the phase two. How about phase three? the new beginning. In this now, we moved in the change. In this phase, staff and faculty begin to show emotional commitment to the new state. Possible reactions, new energy, new identity, and sense of purpose. The behavior to watch is rebuilding and cooperation. The people are cooperating with you or no. Clear focus and planning. In this phase, the new beginning, you as a leader has to do this point. Explain the purpose for new beginning, continue to communicate the vision, still working on it. Like the tumor, let's say the example. If an example, a patient is going to a doctor for removing a tumor, then he will continue on telling him it's very important because it's better than using chemicals or whatever for the drugs. Surgery will be better for you, this and that. So he's showing him that this is the right path. Developing a transition plan. In this stage, the leader will develop a transition plan. Give your employees parts to play in the transition. This is another point. Okay. Things also like those, what we will do when we have an employees that resist the change. Employees feel they will suffer from the change, then what you will do then as a leader, use communication strategy that solicits employees' inputs. Organization does not communicate expectations clearly, then do not send mixed signals regarding the change. This will increase them. So don't send too much messages about the change. Be very focused one by one, and this will make them accept little by little the change. But don't send for them all of a sudden. As a leader, don't send for the employees all of a sudden regarding the change, the phases of a change, all this together. No, one by one. Go once at a time, like we said here. Employees perceive more work with fewer opportunities. Communicate clear vision. You have to have a clear vision about the change. Change requires altering a long-standing habits, identify employees' concerns, and unresolved implementation issues. Relationship harbor unresolved resentments, provide employees with a timeline and defined approach to the outcomes. So give them a grace of time. Employees lack feeling of job security. They are feeling they. This is very important. This one, the people are feeling lack of security, very scared of fear of the change. Then what you will do here, communicate how employees will benefit from the change. So show them the good outcomes from the change, how it will be favorable for them. Organization lacks adequate rewards process, develop procedures to address employees who will negatively affected by the change. So those are some uh, some aspects about the change itself. I wish that you understand it very well, and I wish that it was a very good reference for us to work from. And hopefully, yeah, hopefully you guys will apply this in the future when you become managers or when you come in a position of leaders and you will need to make a change. Thank you so much. You guys have a good night. Bye bye.